Good morning. I'm here with Bob Lesser. I'm Ivan Barron. We're here at the Harvard Social Enterprise Conference in Cambridge, Massachusetts, being sponsored by the Harvard Business School and the Kennedy School of Government. It is a two-day conference to discuss issues around social enterprise, nonprofit organizations with innovative models to help solve some of the larger challenges that the world faces. So Bob and I attended the conference over the last few days, and this is a video talking about some of the takeaways that we got from the conference. So thanks for joining me.
You're welcome. Nice to be here.
Good. So I just want to start. I'd love to hear your general just takeaways. One or two things that maybe really resonated with you that would be applicable to any aspiring social entrepreneur who wants to, get some of the knowledge that we were able to get over the last few days.
Absolutely.
So what resonated with you?
Absolutely. I think there were four main takeaways after the 2 days that really sort of, really resonated with me. The first one was just to see how large the education nonprofit sector was represented at the conference. There were, I would say probably the majority, of the presenters or the organizations represented had something to do with either domestic or international education, and just to see how large that field has grown over the last 10 years is really amazing. So that was number one. Number two was the international representation at the conference, particularly the South Asian, Indian representation. I think pretty much on every panel, certainly in the audience, there were many Indians. And I think that just goes to show, the true globalization of the world economy. And what Tom Friedman, wrote, years ago, that the world is now flat, and there's this real global competitiveness that we need to be aware of, and that we're competing in a global marketplace. Number three, even though there's all this technology out there that has made the world more interconnected and flatter, it still comes down to being able to tell a compelling story, and that goes just to what sort of gets people in the heart, and how you can connect with people emotionally, and so being able to tell your story in a compelling way. And not getting caught up in all the technology out there, but being able to tell that story. And then lastly, there were a lot of big ideas and really sort of amazing innovations that were being presented over the 2 days, which were fantastic and got a lot of stuff stimulating in everyone's minds. But I think what it really comes down to is sort of starting with what's really within reach, taking stock of your own resources, your own networks, your own connections, your own abilities, and sort of starting with that first step with something that's very doable and within reach, so that you're not spending your time aspiring to stuff that might be 5 or 10 years down the road. But what can you start with now? And I think just one example of that, in my mind, was we went to a panel yesterday on venture capital and venture philanthropy, and that's great stuff to aspire to. But it also made me think of who are my fundraising networks, my 400 friends on Facebook that I might be able to reach out to, again with my compelling story, and be able to start raising some funds that way, more immediately.
Good.
Those are the four things.
That makes sense. I'll add a couple observations too quickly. This is a conference I've attended before, and before this was sparsely attended. A lot of people in the business world particularly were not paying attention to social corporate responsibility issues, or issues of aligning social missions into a business model. This time around, I felt that every session was filled to capacity, that the level of interest, particularly from business folks, to really align social missions with financial missions of business was critical. At this point, I think mainstream America and consumers are now demanding and willing to pay a premium for businesses that are more socially responsible, more socially conscious, environmentally conscious. So it is now on the mainstream of America. It is not just a peripheral issue. So that was very clear to me. What else would I say? I would say also that You know, the sophistication in this field is actually significantly enhanced. So any social entrepreneur who's thinking about starting a socially minded business, now there's networks of funding, as we talked about the venture philanthropy yesterday. You're required to have more sophistication in developing a business plan. Just wanting to do good or wanting to do business alone without being able to articulate the business case for both and the social value that's created is not enough. So if you want to enter this space, you really need to understand both the social issues and the financial issues and bring together a model that really maximizes both of those. So for aspiring entrepreneurs looking to become social entrepreneurs, either through a business or through startup or a profit, you need to get educated. You need to really understand your business as well as your theory of change related to social outcomes in order to present a business model that's likely to succeed. Okay. So those are just our initial report back from the conference. Thanks for watching.